Landslide. Landslide is a landslip. Is a sudden descent of hillside or slope by a mass of soil, rock or debris. It is a geology phenomenon in which a substantial volume of material is moved by gravitational force. There are so many types of cause of landslide. Firstly is geology and slope characteristic. Second, heavy rainfall and water saturation. And third is seismic activity and earthquake. And lastly is human activity. Landslide in Malaysia. Due to its tropical climate, mountainous terrain and high rainfall, Malaysia is frequently threatened by natural disasters such as landslide. The geology of the nation, which is characterized by steep slopes and worn rock formation, increase some regions' susceptibility to landslide. In Malaysia, climate change is expected to result in a rising trend of annual mean temperature, occurrence of extreme weather event and increased rainfall variability. Annual rainfall can reach as high as 4,500 mm. This combined with year-long high temperature cause intense chemical weathering and formation of thick residual soil profile which in certain location. Certain location can reach 100 meter in depth. With this set of climate and geological condition, combined with other causative factor, landslide are thus one of most destructive natural disaster in Malaysia. The example of a landslide in Malaysia is Highland Tower landslide 1993, one of the most devastating landslide in Malaysia history. The collapse of one of these three residential tower in Highland Tower, Selangor, resulted in 48 deaths. Heavy rainfall and construction activities on a nearby hill slope weakened the soil, causing a massive landslide that buried a portion of the apartment complex. Second landslide is Bukit Antarabangsa landslide 2008. Bukit Antarabangsa landslide located in a residential area in Ampang, Selangor. This landslide occurred after a day of heavy rainfall. It caused the collapse of several houses and resulted in the loss of 5 lives. The incident prompted the government to conduct slope stability assessment and implement stricter regulation for hillside development. And lastly is Tanjung Bunga landslide 2017. This landslide took place in Penang, where a construction site for a residential project experienced slope failure after a day of heavy rainfall. The landslide resulted in 11 fatalities and raised concern about hillside development practice in the state.
So now I am going to present literature review. So in October 2018, a landslide occurred at the Bukit Kukus Parrot project site in Payam Terubong in Penang, Malaysia. So this incident occurred following a very heavy rainfall event across the state from the afternoon 2 days before the event to the noon the day before. So as shown in the figure, we can see that it is a very high tower. So this project is a high density development project which consists of 4 residential tower blocks of over 40 stories, which has approved in December 2015, as well as a project for parallel construction built directly across a steep slope. So this construction site is located at Paya Terubong, which is in Penang Island. So Penang government have conduct several tests on the soil in the Bukit. So find that the weathering and the presence of the fault zone have both contributed to the occurrence of several landslide events in the recent past in Penang Island. So after we go through with many news that reported this case, we found the potential value of the landslide occurred in this construction site. Despite the rain factor, this event was reported attributable to human vulnerability of failing to ahead and also comply with standard operating procedures, which caused the hilling areas to collapse and slide down. both the containers and worker quarters to be buried together at the construction site. So we found that the design and construction error was the major cause of the landslide in this incident. Design and construction deficiencies are basically of proper understanding of soil behavior in the bucket and also inaccurate testing of the soil properties and also poor management of predictive methods. So the main issue caused this collapse case was the stability of the slope, the adequacy of overall planning, and the extent to which the project was being developed with appropriate geoscience inputs. The stability of the slope, which can see in the figure that show the view of a portion of the hillside road construction on a highly unstable and steep slope at Bukit Kukus.
Methodology. In this research, we use case study method and fundamental research. Generally, Malaysia did not experience major earthquakes, but large-scale landslides are still existed. Due to rapid development since the 1980s, strategic and suitable low-lying areas for development have become increasingly unavailable in Malaysia. As a result, the development of highland or hilly terrain has increased, particularly in the area adjacent to densely populated cities, thereby exposing urban communities to an increased risk of landslide occurrence. Based on data, around 28 major landslides with a total loss of more than 100 life cases reported. From 1973 until 2007, the total economic loss due to landslide in Malaysia was estimated about $1 billion USD. This will bring a huge economic problem to Malaysia if no further action taken to prevent the landslide. Most of the time, the existence of this large-scale landslide was only known after the areas have been developed and containing damage to the built infrastructures. Unnecessarily, disaster and great economic losses could be avoided if the large-scale landslide geohazards has been identified and assessed on the first place prior to the development. Hence, infrastructural development should have been avoided when interfering with deep-seated large-scale landslide. Next, fundamental research in landslides can provide insight into the fundamental principles that govern slope instability and contribute to the development of effective landslide prediction, prevention, and mitigation of strategies. Example of fundamental research detected is climate change and landslide. Researchers analyze historical rainfall data and use climate models to assess changes in rainfall patterns due to climate change. They investigate how alternation in rainfall intensity, duration, and frequency can influence the saturation of slopes, groundwater levels, and pore pressure, which are critical factors contributing to landslide triggering. Also, temperature changes can affect soil properties such as thermal expansion, contraction, and changes in soil moisture content. This effect can impact slope stability and contribute to landslide occurrence. By conducting fundamental research in these areas, scientists can enhance our understanding of the mechanism and relationship between climate change and landslide occurrence. This knowledge is crucial for developing robust mitigation strategies, adapting to changing climate conditions, and improving landslide risk assessment in changing climate resource scenario.
Now I'm going to present my part, which is a discussion part. And the discussion part is design and construction technology for landslide control. First is slope stabilization. The earth slope need to be stabilized before starting the construction of applied building work. The method for stabilizing the earth slope is to increase the resisting force in the high hill slope. So the method of the slope stabilization used in the project is soil nailing. The nails are installed at an inclination of 10 until 20 degrees with vertical. As the excavation proceeds, the concrete, shotcrete, and other grounding material that were applied in the excavation to ground the reinforcing nail. And also, the steel bars are forcing into the soil with a single shot using the compressed air machine. It utilized to reinforce and potentially unstable soil mass. The second one is foundation of building. The building of our case study are 40-story at a planned slope, and this building was considered a high-risk building. The foundation in this building should use the pillar foundation, which is the deep foundation. And the pillar foundation can help to transfer the load through the compressible strata on the stiff soil and the rock at depth. If the foundation needs to be more efficiency, we can use the pillar raft foundation, because the raft can allow some degree of load redistribution to other pillars and reducing the influence of the pillar weakness. The third one is prevention of corrosion of reinforcement concrete column. This is because the building at the high hill slope, the building is in the high hill slope, and the humidity of the air will higher than the ground humidity. So we will use the integral crystalline waterproof admixture, which is the permeability reducing admixture. This admixture can control the corrosion in the reinforced concrete by impeding the development of corrosive condition that caused by the penetration of moisture. Next is the issue occur if ignoring the prevention procedures. First is a landslide. If ignoring the slope stability can increase the risk of the landslide and impact on the stability and integrity of building structure. This is because the slope's instability will exert the lateral pressure on the foundation of a building and create the additional stress on the structure. So the additional stress will lead to the load-bearing structure of building crack. The second one is foundation failure. While the foundation is not deep enough, it can cause the structure of building unstable at the high hill slope. And this is because the foundation is used to provide the support to the building and distribute the force of the structure to the soil ground. The insufficient depth of the foundation can lead to uneven settlement, lead to crack in the wall, floor, and other structure. The last one is the corrosion occur. The corrosion will cause the concrete to crack, which subsequently allow the water and chlorides easy to access to the interior concrete and the steel reinforcing bar. And also the bending moment capacity will decrease as the corrosion penetration increase and make the low contribution of bars in compression. The loss of the moment capacity will cause the concrete crack because of the reduction of concrete section.
Hi, I'm Fong Mun Jie, number matrix 220177. So now I'm going to proceed the conclusion part. In conclusion, a landslide caused by construction issues necessitates a focused and truth approach to address the various aspects of the event. The conclusion of such a landslide requires attention to details and specific action to mitigate the effect and prevent similar incidents in the future. Overall, the conclusion of a landslide caused by construction issues requires a comprehensive approach that includes truth investigation, effective remediation, damage assessment, legal and regulatory reforms, and knowledge sharing. By implementing these measures, it is possible to minimize the risk and landslide associated with construction activities and ensure the safety of communities and infrastructure in the future. Thank you.